All right, welcome back to Real Disc Golf Simulation. Today we're going to continue our series on trying out different throw techniques to see which ones work better for us. We already did one on the power grip, and I sort of showed the two different styles of power grip that I use, one with all the fingers on there, and then the other one sort of the more standard for me, which is that my pinky comes off. And we talked about how that just feels more natural to me, is to let my pinky just sort of drift off the rim of the disc. It's a more comfortable grip. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and they had mentioned that there's another technique for doing this. And the way that they've been taught to do the power grip is that you start by holding the disc this way with this finger off, your pointer finger off on the back side of the disc, or on the top of the disc. And that is going to establish exactly where you want your grip to be, at which point you can sort of bring this finger around. And what that changes for me is it makes the three fingers, including the pinky, firmly gripping the disc, and then this one ends up just a little bit loose. It's making more contact than my pinky would end up making, but you can see, if I really show it, it's not all the way down on the disc. So it's, again, sort of just a different variation on the power grip and the way that it holds the disc. We're going to make 10 throws. We're going to do the first 10 throws sort of my natural, where the pinky is drifting off, and then we're going to do the other 10 throws by taking and putting this pinky finger, putting this pointer finger on the front of the disc, and then bringing it around so it's a little bit looser. We're going to compare those throws using TechDisc's throw sets, which is what we've been doing in this entire series, and then we'll see what the data looks like. So I'm going to make these throws, and then we'll get back in and jump into the data. So now we're going to switch the way we're gripping the disc. We're going to start off by indexing using our pointer finger and then bring it around, and we'll see if that has any difference in the data that we're seeing. So there you go. We got the throws in. We're going to head inside. We're going to break down this data for you. All right, so here we go. We got all those throws loaded up into the simulator. You guys should have told me. I really don't know how to count. I wasn't close to 10 throws with either one, but at least I was consistent. I did 14 throws with each grip style. Really don't know how that happened, but crazy as it is, we got 14 with both. So I got those throw sets created here inside of TechDisc. We're going to get those loaded up for you here. Before we jump into them, you can just see really quickly what the data ends up looking like. So speed was a little bit higher with the pointer finger index. That's what I'm calling it. So that's where I took the pointer finger, wrapped it around the top side of the disc first, and then brought it around. And I can actually, I'll do it for you real quick here. So we start off holding the disc like this with the pointer finger on the back side like that, and then before we throw, we go ahead and remove it back here. And I realized the video wasn't great on how this ends up being held, but that's what you end up seeing. So see how this is wrapped? It's not quite getting fully on the rim, but it does end up further than my normal power grip. When I let the pinky slide off, the pinky sort of comes off completely. So it's just a different way to grip the disc. And you see that we did end up having a little bit higher speed. I'm going to attribute that to getting warmed up in the throws. I don't think that change was all that much attributed to the grip style itself. Same thing with the hyzer angle. As I kept throwing, we really realized that we were turning over a lot of discs, so we changed that hyzer angle. For that reason, we're not even going to really pay attention to the distance totals in this comparison. We're just really going to look at the numbers themselves. So here we go with spin. The spin rate at 915 compared to 877, so a little bit of a higher spin rate, but that could also be attributed to the higher speed that we were throwing with. We did see a considerable drop in nose angle, so from 7.3 in my standard grip to 5.7 by indexing that pointer finger. If we look back down at our old throws that we had for power grip versus modded power grip, we end up seeing that, we ended up with higher speeds and higher spins back then than we did today. Must be, I'm just feeling a little bit rusty today. But we did end up with a lower nose angle with this pointer index style. So 5.7 compared to 7.3 from earlier today. And then if we look back at the previous time we did this, which was a couple of months ago, we had 7.7 on. This one's my normal with the pinky up, and this one is a standard power grip. So the best numbers that we've gotten in terms of nose angle ended up being with this pointer finger indexing style. Our launch angle at 4.2, so we're getting a more positive launch angle compared to here. Again, if we go back down here, we had 0.3 and 1.5, so this is a considerably better number as well. The wobble ended up at 6.1 compared to what was 7.1, and if we look down at the older numbers, was 5 on sort of my standard, or on the standard power grip, and 6.1 on the pinky up one. So overall, I think that indexing your pointer finger in this way might be the best way to go ahead and grip the power disc. We'll look at the fancy chart that they make. This one is our indexed pointer finger. We see that these were the first throws where I turned it over, which is a lot of what I was doing in, here's our no pinky, and we had a lot more turned over. So those were the first throws, and then I corrected and started throwing way more hyzer, which was a little bit rough with without the pointer finger is firmly planted on the disc. We will look at the distance just real quick, because how can you not look at the distance? You sort of have to, right? 296 was the average with our indexed pointer finger, and 281. So we got like 15 more feet, but again, we were throwing a disc that kept turning over for us quite a bit. So we probably should have changed these numbers beforehand to make it so that we could really compare the distance a little bit more. But overall, an interesting change to the way that I grip a disc. I think I am going to try this out on the course, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll even take you guys along. Thanks again for watching Real Disc Golf Simulation. Really appreciate it. Make sure you guys like and subscribe.